Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing some simple Codeforces and Codewars problems. If you want to skip to a certain question, here are some timestamps. So I'm just going to be solving this Codeforces problem called way too long words. Here I'm going to initialize an integer called t, and I'm going to be creating a scanner object. Now I'm going to initialize t to be scanner.nextInt. Here I'm creating a for loop in order to get all of the test cases. Here I'm creating an integer called length to get the length of the string. Next I'm putting the integer length, and it's just going to be equal to the length of our string called words. Now here I'm putting an if statement, and we're checking if the length is greater than 10, in which we would use our special abbreviation. So I'm just printing the first character of words, which is going to be words.char at 0 because we have index 0, plus a space, and then here I'm going to put the length minus 2 plus the words char at length minus 1. Now that I've finished that, I'm just creating an else statement and then printing out the word, because if the word does not have length greater than 10, we just print the word. Here I'm just making a small test, and it seems like it works. So I'm going to copy and paste my code into Codeforces and see if our answer gets accepted. So I'm just gonna paste here and click submit, and accepted. Alright, so now we're going to be solving the next problem. It's called elephant. This one is also very simple. So I'm just going to create a scanner object to get the inputs from the user. Then here I'm creating the integer n, which represents the amount of jumps, and we're going to get that from the user. So basically for this question is we want to see if n is divisible by 5, in which case we would just print out n divided by 5. And then here, all we want to do is print out n divided by 5 plus 1, because there's always one more jump you can do. So that's quite literally it for the question. So I'm going to copy and paste all my code into Codeforces and see if it gets accepted. Right there, submit. Okay, so by far, this one took the longest. I don't even know why I took this route for the solution, but this one we're just gonna count the amount of uppercase letters and compare it to the lowercase letters. So I'm just gonna create the scanner object here. We're gonna get the word from the user. Here I'm converting the string into a char array. I'm gonna loop over the array. Now this is the part where it gets a little bit wacky, but so I'm creating an uppercase counter to count all of the uppercase letters, and a lowercase counter to do the same for the lowercase. I also created a contains function because I didn't know that one already existed in Java. Now I started creating an array with all of the letters in the alphabet to check if each character in our word is contained in it, and this goes on for like another minute. Now here, this is where I count the amount of uppercase letters and lowercase letters using if statements, and then I compare them. So I'm going to copy and paste all of my code into Codeforces and see what we get. Now for this solution, so I actually got an incorrect answer, and that's because I forgot to take into consideration if the amount of uppercase and lowercase letters are the same. So I went back into IntelliJ and I just scanned through my code for a little bit to check to see what I got wrong, and then I realized. So then I attempted it again with my new code, and I think it should get accepted. Yes, it did. Alright, so instead of Codeforces, I went on to Codewars to find some simple problems to do. And I found this one called You Only Need One, and we're just gonna check to see if a given array A has the value of X. So that's pretty simple. Here I'm just copy and pasting the function into IntelliJ. So I created a contains function that takes two arguments, one called object array and the other one object and then to find, which is the thing that we need to find. So I'm gonna create a boolean, call it result, set it equal to false, and create an enhanced for loop where object I in our array, and we want to see that if I equals to find, in which this case it would mean that it's in the element array, and we will return false. So I'm setting result equal to true and then return result. So then inside of the function that Codeforces generated, I put return and then our boolean, which takes in array and x. Just gonna copy and paste it and click the attempt button, and let's see what we get. We see that passed, so we're gonna just submit it. So I'm gonna be doing this Codewars problem called counting sheep. It's pretty easy. All we need to do is, given an array of booleans, for each true, we just want to add one to a counter and then return the counter. So let's do this. So I'm gonna copy the function into IntelliJ again. We're gonna create a for loop. So for a boolean I in our array, we want to check if I is true and then increment a counter. I'm gonna initialize the counter variable to be equal to 0. Then I'm just gonna return the counter at the end. So here I'm just checking it, or making a test case. We see that our answer is 17, so we got it correct. Gonna click the attempt button, see what we get. I'm pretty sure it would get accepted. Yes, it did. So now I'm just gonna submit it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Please don't get angry. I'm not a very good programmer.